This is another installment of the SNL Podcast. I'm your host, just some guy named Jay. And basically in this one, what I want to talk about is the upcoming host in November, upcoming host and musical guest. On November 3rd, we got Louis C.K. and musical guest Fun. I'm definitely looking forward to Louis C.K. hosting. I'm a big fan of his show. I haven't really been catching a lot of this season. I heard Amy Poehler appeared on the season finale of this season, of the season that just aired. But I think Louis C.K. he's very funny, one of the funniest guys out right now. I've actually been a fan of Louis ever since like 10 years ago. When he, actually seeing his stand-up specials on Comedy Central and things like that, and been used to look into what he used to do and the stuff he used to write. And so yeah, Louis C.K. And he has a lot of heat on him right now too. So it's the perfect fit for him to host. Now, one thing I like to say about SNL is you kind of got to expect the unexpected, even though they have a set formula that they're known for. When it comes to host and whether or not a show is going to be good or not, that's always still up in the air. Because, like we saw with Bruno Mars, I had low expectations, and he ended up being very good. And they ended up playing to his strengths. And it's not that my expectations were so low that I was like, that I was impressed by anything. They actually, he actually came through. And it seems like that sometimes with certain athletes. You think, he's an athlete, this person's not going to be good, or that person's a political person, they're not going to be good. And with Saturday Night Live, sometimes you just can't. You got to throw that out the window, because sometimes somebody you want to host or somebody that you expect to be good, it turns out not like that. Louis C.K., I'm just glad that they're thinking like this. I'm just glad that they're booking people like this. So even if it sucks, I like it just because, I hope it doesn't though, but anything can go. Louis C.K. sounds like a good idea on paper, but it could end up going in the opposite direction. On November 17th, another thing about Louis C.K. Let me say this before I say this. Another thing about Louis C.K. I hope the show has a lot of his humor, and the show has a lot of his his style of stuff to do. I hope it's not a bunch of, Fred Armisen and drag, or a bunch of these little, these skits that just don't make sense to be, I hope Louis C.K. has a lot of influence on this episode. And on November 10th, we have Anne Hathaway and Rihanna. Anne Hathaway is always a good host, in my opinion. I love seeing her host. She always nails it every time she does it. Rihanna, excuse me, Rihanna. I knew she was going to be the musical guest sometime this year. Because it seems like Rihanna's like a machine. It's like she comes out with albums and new songs like every other week or something. So yeah, Rihanna. Rihanna. It seems like Rihanna can't stop making music. So yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to that. Anne Hathaway, always good. And on November 17th, we got Jeremy Renner in Maroon 5. Jeremy Renner, I don't know what's really going on with that. I know he played Hawkeye in the Avengers, and he's that newborn. It doesn't seem, in my opinion, like he has that much heat on him. And it doesn't seem like he's plugging something around this time, so I'm kind of like, what is he doing? But it may actually be a good show. This one, the Jeremy Renner show, is the one I have the least expectations for. I think this is going to be kind of, I think it's going to be a bomb. But if it turns out good, I'll definitely give credit where credit is due. And Maroon 5, Adam Levine, like I said, I'm not gonna be judging the musical guests anyway, but like I love Adam Levine's music, and Maroon 5, I like the band, so yeah, it's going either way. I'm looking forward to all three of these shows, especially the Louis C.K. Well, just because it's Saturday Night Live, I'm looking forward to it, but just keep checking back to the podcast to see what I say about the episode, see if it actually was good. All right? Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.